Netflix's American Primeval is giving a fresh take on a key romance arc from The Last of the Mohicans, offering a more empowered and nuanced portrayal of a tragic love story. The Western series, set against the backdrop of indigenous struggles and colonization, reimagines the love between two central characters, Red Feather and Abish, offering a powerful spin on what was once a passive, secondary romantic subplot in Michael Mann's 1992 war epic. The tragic fate of Uncas and Alice in The Last of the Mohicans. In The Last of the Mohicans, Uncas, son of Chingachgook and a skilled Mohican warrior, falls in love with Alice Hayward, the daughter of a British colonel. The romance plays out amid the brutal violence of the French and Indian War. Uncas' efforts to save Alice from the villainous Magua end tragically. Uncas is killed in battle, and Alice, unable to escape her fate as Magua's bride, jumps to her death. The love story is secondary to the broader conflict, and Alice's agency is stripped away, making her a victim for the sake of tragedy. Though the death of Uncas and Alice is poignant, their relationship is not fully explored, rendering their sacrifice as little more than an emotional plot device for the main couple, Hawkeye and Cora. Red Feather and Abish, a more empowered love story in American Primeval. In Netflix's American Primeval, the characters of Red Feather, a Shoshone warrior, and Abish Pratt, a Mormon woman, take center stage in an updated version of this doomed romance arc. Much like Uncas, Red Feather is initially portrayed as driven by vengeance against his people's oppressors, engaging in violent conflict with those he views as enemies. However, his encounter with Abish transforms into something deeper as the two form a bond that transcends race, culture, and their traumatic pasts. Abish, unlike Alice, isn't a passive character. Over time, she sheds the victimhood imposed by both her culture and her husband, Jacob, and gradually comes to respect Red Feather and his people. Her romance with Red Feather is quiet, subtle, and fraught with unspoken attraction, with her loyalty to him growing as she learns more about his tribe. When the Shoshone lands are attacked, the two are confronted with brutal consequences, but Abish chooses to stand alongside Red Feather, choosing her identity and freedom over subjugation. An empowered departure, Abish's warrior farewell. American Primeval reimagines the tragic end of Uncas and Alice with Abish's death, yet with far more agency. When the final battle comes, Red Feather and his son die on the battlefield, but Abish chooses to remain, donned in warrior paint and ready to fight back. This shift from passivity to action gives Abish a sense of empowerment that Alice never received in The Last of the Mohicans. She challenges the patriarchy, defies the expectations of her people, and stands alongside her new tribe in defiance of oppressive forces. As Abish faces her end, her death, though equally tragic, is delivered on her terms. Unlike Alice, who is a victim of circumstance and fate, Abish's final moments signal defiance, ensuring that her death is a warrior's death, not a tragic plot device. This subtle difference highlights the thematic shift in American Primeval, where women are allowed to shape their own destinies, even when facing overwhelming odds, adding depth to the romance and characters. One of the most significant improvements in American Primeval over The Last of the Mohicans is the expansion of the romance between Red Feather and Abish. While Uncas and Alice's connection felt almost incidental to the broader plot, Abish and Red Feather's bond is given more narrative weight, with Abish asserting herself as a key figure in the conflict. Not only does she forge her own identity, but she also symbolizes resistance against the oppressive forces working against both indigenous tribes and the people colonizing them. Abish's ability to predict the impending doom and ultimately stand against those who wronged her and her new family adds an element of foreshadowing and strength. She is no longer a mere symbol of tragic love, but a proactive character who leaves her mark before her death, fighting until the very end. Conclusion. In rewriting a key romantic storyline from The Last of the Mohicans, American Primeval creates a more empowering arc for its female characters, with Abish defying the passivity of Alice to become a warrior in her own right. The nuances in Abish's character, her agency, her actions, and her willingness to fight for both love and freedom, elevate the series' emotional resonance. As a result, American Primeval not only revisits a familiar war film narrative but enhances it, offering a version of love that is both tragic and empowering.